Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. It's Dave Neal, stand-up comic and host of Bachelor Nation News. If you can see me right now, I'm having a global hair crisis, and I don't know. No, I'm going to cover Danielle and Michael, Michelle and Daniel. I'm going to cover her first post after deleting Michael. That's right. She deleted him. Delete from her Instagram, and he deleted most of her. I don't really have the before and after, but he has vanished. He is missing from her life, and she says, celebrating my female friendships, currently leaning into my femininity. Let me tell you something. If you know anything about femininity, you don't lean into it unless you just broke up with someone. You know what I mean? You soak your crystals. Right? You start, I'm watching Grey's Anatomy and just doing me, whatever it is you guys are doing out there. I'm gonna, that's right. Is it patronizing my female voice? No, I don't think so. I don't think it's patronizing at all. Lighten your load. Just lean into your femininity. I'm leaning into my femininity here. I look like a few days late for Fire Island here. What does that even mean? What's going on with this? Either way, the water, you travel, the water's soft. It's a whole thing. I'm getting a haircut. Don't worry, folks. All right, so we're gonna get into this story. But by the way, if you want to take a look at my last video, after recording that video, and I'm in my family's screened-in porch. It's 1,000% humidity, obviously. And after recording the video, my wife goes, "Oh my gosh, don't move." And I was like, "What?" She goes, "You have the largest spider on you." And I just took my shirt and I threw it off. I literally, like Hulk Hogan, threw it off. And sure enough, I had a gigantic spider on me. I don't know if you can see it in the last video, but I'm literally getting attacked left and right. There's a beehive, not just my hair. There's an actual beehive in the walls of this house. They have to call a beekeeper. I'm literally a moment away from just putting a full beekeeper uniform on. Beekeeper Dave is going to be over here, but I am giving you the content one bee sting at a time, and let's get into it. So, a couple days ago, we shared this story. All pictures gone, deleted, so obvious that they are done. And still, people left comments saying they're getting married and moving in together. They're leaning into their femininity. A guy who only says I love you to only one person and says it on live TV to Danielle. If they really broke up, then he's a fraud, but highly doubtful. First of all, if they broke up, it doesn't mean he's a fraud. It means it didn't work out. You know what I mean? Sometimes listen, here's a little story from your father, Dave Neal, here. Sometimes good people, they just don't work out together, and that's okay too. And the relationship is over. This isn't breaking news. The relationship was over a while ago. I don't know when, but it's just common knowledge. They decided not to make a post for whatever reason. Maybe they took a break. We're on a break. And maybe they tried to take a break and see where their lives are. She moved to Ohio, because that's what you do. If you want to give a relationship a real go, you have to live close to each other for the most part. So, I lived away from, it's like good, but for the most part, to harness a relationship, you need to have the right embers and wood and put some gasoline on the fire, and all those types of things. They did that. It didn't work out. That's okay. They're not bad people because the relationship didn't work out. Actually, so she posted this today. I'll show you what she posted. Celebrating my female friendships, currently leaning into my femininity. Things that make me feel soft. Things that make me feel beautiful. Things that make me feel anything but Michael. No, things that make me create, feel comfort. Re-examining things that inspire and ignite me. And again, this isn't a femininity thing or a masculinity thing. A lot of times in relationships, you give yourself, and now everyone's different. Some are codependent. Some people are counterdependent. We know more about codependency than counterdependency. It's just a yin and a yang. A codependent person puts the other person's needs ahead of them. A counterdependent person might push the other person away. And I can't tell you which one this may be. Maybe we have a little bit of codependency and counterdependency in all of us. Who knows? Just like we all have a little bit of introvertedness and extrovertedness. Like we all exist in a much more complicated way than I'm this, I'm that. I'm a Taurus, so I'm this. It's like, shut up, you Sagittarius loser. I'm kidding. Don't trigger any Sagittariuses out there. I know you guys get triggered easily. Do you? I have no idea. It's all made up, right? Well, actually, I was telling this joke about astrology, and 4 women cornered me after my set to tell me why I was wrong. And the whole joke was, you have to, in order to have a healthy relationship, you have to believe in your partner, even if they believe in astrology. That's it. I still love you, even though you love weird things. Okay, but it's like, okay, you can believe in astrology if I believe wearing an old hat sideways makes the Patriots win more games. You know what I mean? I haven't changed my jockstrap in 33 years because I believe that it's going to... Okay, you get the point. We're having a good one. fun. It's a Friday, folks. Have fun. So anyway, she posts that, and everyone's like, love you, you're the best, you're so beautiful, you're incredible. And she is, and we love Danielle. But of course, this is the hot girl summer, Christian mingle fall, whatever you want to call it. I've got a nice dress on. I'm going to twirl it sideways. Maybe I have panties on. Maybe I don't. We don't know, right? Who's speculating? I'm going to eat some carbs. I'm going to do what I want. I'm going to frolic on this dirt path. I'm going to spin around like I'm a Taylor Swift cover band, all the great things. It's in slow motion. See that beautiful smile? Someone else wants me, even if you don't. Look, hey, guys do the same thing. The guys aren't going to post a video like this. They're going to be like, I'll bench press 33 times today. I don't know why my male voice is a southern meathead, but there it is. She left a clavicle hangout. So look, wonderful things. Great, drinking, lemonade and eating croutons or whatever. You spit the carbs out afterwards. All the right things. They're in an olive. One thing after another. So and by the way, all joking aside, I'm working on a large Dunkies here, so I got that Dunkin's energy. But all joking aside, we love Danielle. I would literally run over a school of puppies to interview Danielle. That's a weird thing. No, I wouldn't do that. But you get the point, right? I think she's fantastic and should be a welcomed guest on Driving with Dave. Want to lean into your femininity? Do it in the passenger seat of my Tesla Model Y 2023, and we can all talk about it. I'll frolic with you. We'll frolic through every field you want. All right, either way, so there's Danielle, good for her. But it does suck when a relationship doesn't work out, especially if you feel like you might have overextended. I'm not saying she overextended for the relationship, but I'm just saying, and of course the comments are going to be just, so he got you to move for him and then he breaks up with you. Lost so much respect for him. You're perfect and more than he deserves. Like we don't know. This makes me so sad. You and Michael were perfect. It's like we have these ideas, and over, year after year, we see people or the perfect version of them, and we think, everything's perfect. Everything must work out, and then it doesn't. You guys were perfect for each other. Hey, newsflash, Jillian, everyone's trying their best, and not every relationship works out. So we don't have the story. We don't think there's any suspected foul play or anything. Maybe they just weren't meant to be, and maybe she's going to continue on her journey and continue leaning into her femininity, and that's just fine. So here's a video I made half an hour ago. This is my mobile studio setup. I wanted to give you a quick tour. Here's all the gear that I'm using for my studio. I thought you guys might like it. This is on my TikTok. I'm adding more content to my TikTok over here. As you guys know, I make my full-time living as a YouTube creator, but I also travel a lot. So this is my portable studio setup. I've got my MacBook Pro. I have a separate monitor that costs $80. I have a $100 Shure SM58 microphone with a $20 adjustable mount that can clip to just about any table. And then I've got my mixer here, which I absolutely love. This is a Tascam Mini Studio Creator mixer. And then what else I have? My $20 in-ear monitors. And that's about it. It all connects together, and I'm able to make my content anywhere in the world. As long as I've got good Wi-Fi. All right, so I think that's all we have from this story. I mean, look, here's what I love most. We covered this story the other day, and sometimes I'll make companion stories. So I don't know if you care to know about the strategy of YouTube content creating, but what works really well with your thumbnail, which is the initial image you share, is something very specific. So I shared that, and then once the door is open, all I have to do is keep you interested. I could literally read Snapple's facts if it's interesting. And after this, we, of course, talked about Zach Clark and his addiction. And so many comments came in from people after we talked about Zach sharing his addiction. And these are the comments that inspire me to continue making the content that we make. A true inspirational and provoking talk on how we criminalize, ostracize people's pain, wrapped in a story of a random reality TV couple. Pretty good going. Thank you, Davis, someone who is an addict in recovery who started when I was given pain meds for kidney stones at 17. I appreciate that story. Wasn't expecting that from this video. And that's what we try to do, is insert whatever social conversation or political, whatever it is. We try to insert those into otherwise juicy stories that don't really matter. Does a conversation about Danielle's femininity and which way she wants to lean into it matter so much? Not really, but there is a sort of it's like if I'm feeding you, I want to give you your vegetables. And sometimes in order for me to get you to eat your vegetables, I got to promise that there'll be some dessert. So a story like this, it's like a little sensational, a little clickbaity, but then we can have longer conversations. And I think that's a good thing. I think, while I would personally love to expand beyond the niche of Bachelor Nation, I have to understand that this is a niche that we cracked into, that we're going to continue to use to steer conversations that I find interesting. Yesterday, we talked a lot about this story where Katie Thurston shared the news that a bunch of podcasts have been getting ripped off by a podcast network. They've been defrauded of $4 million. Some of those podcasts that haven't maybe talked about it yet are within Bachelor Nation. And it's a real interesting conversation about workers' rights, about owners of businesses and CEOs taking advantage of people. And these are all different conversations that are worth having, and we're just packaging them through the voices, through the Trojan horse, which is Bachelor Nation. So I appreciate you guys letting me do that. I'm going to have one more story coming up for you today. It's going to be a fascinating one where Mari, remember Mari from Bachelor in Paradise? She's engaged to Kenny. In fact, they might be married already. I think they're doing a multiple weddings, one in Puerto Rico, the whole influencer thing. You thought you wanted multiple wedding dresses. How about multiple weddings? Lean into your femininity with multiple weddings. That's going to cost you. Either way, she called out some users on Reddit for their ignorant comments. And look, it's not necessarily a Reddit issue, but it's an internet issue. It's one of which we keep on talking about, which might be annoying to others, but it is the center of mental health crisis as it exists in our universe, in our global universe with all the people. Sure, there's other issues. There's famines and wars and things like that. But the center of a issue, the rust that is destroying the exhaust system in our car, to use an analogy here, is the mental health of us all not being able to communicate online. When are we going to learn that we just can't have nuanced conversations when we're not in person? When are we going to learn that? I don't know if we will. I don't know. Maybe it'll take a global catastrophe or something like that. I'm not really sure, but we'll be discussing that in the next video. Stick around. Thank you guys so much for your loyalty, your compassion, and for letting me lean into my femininity. Leave a comment. How are you leaning into your femininity? I'd love to hear from you. We'll be back right after this.